Hello everyone, welcome to Wiki Transport, your home for everything transport related. Today we'll be learning everything about the Texas Eagle. Let's get right into this. The Texas Eagle is a long-distance passenger train operated by Amtrak on a 1,306-mile, or 2,102 kilometer for our European viewers, route between Chicago, Illinois and San Antonio, Texas, in the south of the USA, with major stops in St. Louis, Little Rock, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. 3 days per week, the train is coupled with the Sunset Limited service, which is another Amtrak service, in San Antonio, and it continues to Los Angeles via El Paso, Texas, and then Tucson, Arizona. The combined 2,728-mile route is the longest in the United States and the second longest in the Americas after the Canadian. The Texas Eagle travels in a pretty straight route from the Midwest all the way down to the southwestern United States every day. The Amtrak-operated service did pretty well in the fiscal year of 2022, having an annual ridership of 253,491, which was a 67.4% raise over the previous year. This railway has quite a unique termini system, with it having 3 different termini, contrary to most railway services in the world which only have 2. The termini are Chicago, Illinois, San Antonio, Texas, or Los Angeles, California. The service has a whopping 43 stops, with a distance of 2,102 kilometers, or 1,306 miles, to San Antonio, or 2,728 miles, otherwise 4,390 kilometers, to Los Angeles. The average journey time between the San Antonio-Chicago termini is around 30 hours, with the way back from Chicago to San Antonio being 32 hours. And then from the other termini, it is 61 hours from Los Angeles to Chicago, and then a whopping 65 hours from Chicago to Los Angeles. The Texas Eagle has daily service to San Antonio and Chicago, while only having service 3 times weekly to Los Angeles. Passengers can select from 2 classes, being coach class, which is a standard train interior, and a sleeper service. The train is also wheelchair accessible. Out of the sleeper class, you have a couple different options, being the roomette, which contains 2 beds, a bedroom, which also contains 2 beds, but with a different level of luxury, a bedroom suite, which contains 4 beds, an accessible bedroom with 2 beds, and a family bedroom that comes with 4 beds. From the San Antonio to Los Angeles route, there is a dining car, and the other services have a cafe car. San Antonio-Los Angeles route riders also have the luxury of having a sightseeing lounge car. The Texas Eagle is pulled by a GE Genesis locomotive, and behind it, bi-level Superliner cars. With this rolling stock paired with the track conditions, the average speed is 55 miles per hour, or 89 kilometers per hour, with the top speed during the route being 100 miles per hour, or 161 kilometers per hour. The Texas Eagle has various track owners, being Union Pacific, BNSF, and Canadian National. And now, to get into the astounding history of the Texas Eagle. The Texas Eagle is the direct successor of the Missouri Pacific Railroad and Texas and Pacific Railway, which inaugurated service in 1948 but was discontinued in 1971. The route of the Amtrak Texas Eagle is much longer, being from Chicago to San Antonio versus the St. Louis to San Antonio route, which was run by the Missouri Pacific Railroad. Much of the modern route is historically a part of the original Texas Eagle route, from St. Louis to Texarkana and Taylor, Texas to San Antonio. Those routes travel over former Missouri Pacific Railroad trackage, while the Texarkana to Fort Worth segment traverses the former Texas and Pacific Railroad. The Texas and Pacific Railway merged with the Missouri Pacific Railway in 1982, and then the Missouri Pacific Railroad was acquired by Union Pacific in 1986. The first ever operation of the Texas Eagle, otherwise known as the Eagle at that time, began on October 2, 1981, as a restructuring of the Inter-American, which had operated a daily schedule from Chicago to Laredo, Texas, via San Antonio since 1973. From 1979 onward, it operated a section to Houston, Texas, which diverged at Temple, Texas. The new Eagle dropped the Houston section, while its southern terminus was cut back from Laredo to San Antonio. The new service carried Superliner equipment, replacing the Amfleet coaches on the Inter-American. In addition, the new train ran on a thrice-weekly schedule with a through car on the Sunset Limited to Los Angeles, although the latter was not announced until the April 1982 timetable. On November 15, 1988, Amtrak revived the Houston section, this time diverging at Dallas and running over the route of the Southern Pacific's Sunbeam. It was the first time passenger traffic had served that route since 1958. Amtrak had intended to operate the Lone Star over this route back in the 1970s, but dropped the plan in the face of the obstruction from Southern Pacific Railway. With the change, Amtrak revived the name Texas Eagle for the thrice-weekly Chicago-San Antonio-Houston train, while the off-day Chicago-St. Louis train remained the Eagle. This section would be discontinued on September 10, 1995. On April 4, 2013, Amtrak opened a new station in Hope, Arkansas, the hometown of former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Arcadia Valley was added on November 17, 2016, serving Iron County, Missouri. As part of Amtrak's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in greatly cut ridership, service was reduced to tri-weekly throughout the corridor October 11, 2020. In March 2021, Amtrak announced plans to return the Texas Eagle to its pre-pandemic schedule on the 24th of May, 2021. However, the train began operating on a 5 days per week schedule in January 2022 due to a resurgence of the virus caused by the Omicron variant, and remained so until March 2022. During its history, the Texas Eagle has also had various proposed changes. In the August 2009 issue of Trains, Brian Rosenwald, Amtrak's chief of product management, noted that the Sunset Limited might be replaced by an extension of the Texas Eagle to Los Angeles. Quote, "We projected the revenue and looked at the logistics, and with a little bit of rescheduling came to the conclusion that we can make this happen with the equipment we have, and the additional revenue the train earns will more than cover the increased operating costs." The move would have restored a connection to the Coast Starlight in both directions, and move boarding in Maricopa and Tucson, Arizona, to civilized times. "We are putting a stake in the ground. Tri-weekly needs to disappear," quoted by Brian Rosenwald. As of present day, the southbound Texas Eagle departs Chicago at 13:45, running between Chicago and its first station stop in Joliet, parallel to the Illinois and Michigan Canal, along the Canadian National's Freeport subdivision and then Joliet subdivision, which is also used by Metro's Heritage Corridor and Amtrak's Lincoln service. From Joliet, the train travels along Union Pacific rails, often parallel to Interstate 55, making station stops in Pontiac, Bloomington Normal, Lincoln, Springfield, Carlinville, and Alton, before crossing the Mississippi River to make its stop at St. Louis's Gateway Multimodal Transportation Center, scheduled for 1913. After St. Louis, the train skirts the Ozark Mountains, stopping in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, before crossing the state line into Arkansas. In Arkansas, the train stops in Walnut Ridge, the state capital of Little Rock, and the stations at Malvern, Arkadelphia, Hope, and Texarkana on the Arkansas-Texas border. Continuing into Texas, the train makes station stops in Marshall, Longview, Mineola, Dallas, and Fort Worth, which has connections to Oklahoma City via Amtrak's Heartland Flyer service. After Oklahoma City, the train travels on BNSF trackage. The train continues making stops in Claiborne, McGregor, Temple, Taylor, the state capital of Austin, and San Marcos, with a scheduled arrival into San Antonio at 21:55 the next day. A sleeping car and a coach, designated internally as Train 421, are conveyed to the Sunset Limited on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, departing San Antonio at 2:45. The northbound Texas Eagle leaves San Antonio at 7 and typically arrives around 14 o'clock the next day in Chicago. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to support content like this, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought of the video in the comments. Also, leave any questions. I'm more than free to answer. If you'd like to catch up with me more, subscribe to my second channel, The Transit Diaries, where I still have videos about trains, but more on a different type of topic.